Well, I have been threatening to make this tutorial for a while. I had somebody reach out and ask me once again, how do you do these? And I was like, you know what? Just do it. Just sit your butt down at the computer, record it, and let's do this. All right. So I'm going to talk really fast through this, hoping I can get everything in that needs to be said. So first, we all know what's important on a wrap, measurements. Okay, so I measure the height of my cup. I don't measure down around the curve. I measure right above it for my height. So I'm going to go with 8 inches on this one. And then, of course, you want to wrap your tape measure around and get the diameter measurement of your cup. Hold that measuring tape tight because you want to get as exact measure as you can. I'm struggling. Watch my hands. What is she doing? I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna do 9 1/4. It looks like on this. So once you have your measurements, drop it, head over to the computer. Let's see what we got going on here. All right. So while it is a cylinder, once you put it into silhouette, yes, I do work with silhouette. I don't know if any of this will transfer to people who work on Cricut. I have no idea. But once you get in here, you're working with a square. Okay, so make your square. You can drag it however big you want it because right up here at the top, you can put in exact measurements on your height and your width. Of course, our height was 8 exactly, and our width was 9.25. Put those in, and your square will come out to the exact measurement that you need. The next thing that I do is make sure that I have it centered. I want to make sure that I know where my center is on the square that I'm working with, okay? So I just draw like a line out here to the side, and that's just for me to make sure visually I know exactly where the middle of my square is. So once I have it lined up and I can see where my center is, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a shape in the middle here. And I'm going to go ahead and do the diamond shape because I just did the notebook tumbler. And so I have those pictures for reference of what I'm talking about. We're just going to put a diamond here in the middle. And this version of Silhouette has shapes already in it. So I don't have to create a diamond in here. I could just click that shape, click, drag it down, and my diamond comes up, which I absolutely love to use these shapes in this version of Silhouette. So once you've put it in the middle, I don't put my shape up at the very top of the vinyl and the very bottom of the vinyl. There's going to be a little bit of space between the top of my shape and the part where the vinyl ends. I hope you guys can see all this. I'm looking at this like trying to talk over and I'm like, what the heck? Where's what? So I put the blue in, and that's to reference what your vinyl is going to be. And then, of course, the diamond white is cut out. Now, I used to do this where I would keep the diamond in the middle, just cut it out, and I hated the ugly seam in the back, and then I'd have to cover that up too. So then I'm cutting my diamond, and then there's a cut in the back. So why even put my, like, all this is going through my head, right? So I'm like, I want as much seamless vinyl as possible. So here's how I fix that. I am going to move my shape to the outside, okay, to the sides, the actual sides of the vinyl that I have going on here. All right, so let's get rid of this. I don't need this. I have everything centered. So you're going to select both the square and the diamond. So I just click, drag off, select them both. And then you're going to hold down your Alt key. I work with the PC. Hold down your Alt key and then a left click, and that duplicates what you have selected. Whatever was selected, it duplicates it. So you're going to take that and you're going to move it to one side, and you're going to line up your squares. Do not line up your diamond, okay? So there's a reason why you kept the square with your diamond, because you're going to line that up to the top and the bottom and make sure that those match. Okay, you're going to do that again. Select both the square and the diamond, hold down your Alt key, left click so that it's duplicated, and then you're going to drag that to the opposite side and line up your squares. The top, the bottom, the middle of the square should be on the outside of the square that's underneath. I'm saying this. I'm hoping the visual is helping you guys understand what I'm saying, because when I'm saying it doesn't make much sense. So you can delete those outside squares since they were just guides to line everything up. You do not need those. Go ahead and delete those. I like to duplicate this and just move it off to the side in case I mess up. That's just in case I mess up. That's why I did that. Now you can delete the one that's in the middle. You do not need that. All right. So now here's the new visual of the vinyl. Okay, the blue is the vinyl, the white is the cutout, and now look at it. Isn't that so much better? Because now when you wrap it around the cup, you're just completing a shape. There's no extra line to cover up in the back. Oh, that always drove me crazy. All right, so we're going to clear these out again so I can work with them as compound paths. Now there's one more thing that you can do. Anything that's outside your square, you don't need it. So we're going to right click, okay, and we're going to make this a compound path. Click on that. Now when you double click, now you have these little tiny gray, they're little tiny gray squares on every point. And that lets you know that this is now a compound path. What you can do is you can left click and then I right click, it pulls up this window and then it says break path. Okay, and now it's turned this into a red dot. So you're going to click on it and drag it up. See, now that it's separated, okay, you don't need anything, so you can delete these 2 points. Now, half of your diamond shape is constrained to the inside of the square, which is exactly what you want. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. We can tell it's not a compound path yet because we don't have the little tiny gray squares. Right click on a point, you're going to make it a compound path. Now when you double click, your gray squares come up. Double click, right click, break path, grab the red dot, drag it up, okay? You don't need this. You can delete it. You don't need anything on the outside. You're asking, what happens if these 2 dots touch? It becomes a compound path again, okay? And your path is no longer broken. You need to redo it. Right click, break path, bring one side up. You don't need this, delete it. You don't need this other one, delete it, okay? Now, you've cleaned it up. You've saved as much vinyl as you can. Everything's constrained to the inside of the square or the vinyl sheet, also known as the vinyl sheet. I like to group these just in case I click and move it. Not one piece is moving, it's moving as a whole. So I just like to group them. I don't know if you can really see, so I think I'm gonna like scoot this over. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna show you. Sorry. I'm going to show you how to check it's seamless. So I just held down the Alt key, clicked it, duplicated it, and I'm going to line up the squares, the top and the bottom. I'm going to make sure that middle thing, the middle touches. And that's how you can check to make sure that it is seamless, is if your diamonds match. And here it is. I kind of put it on this so you can tell. All right, can I do this with another shape, Danielle? Absolutely. I think I've done a stitch. I just did a breakfast club. I've done another square inside of a square. I've done a star. So yes, okay. So I'm going to show you with a heart because a heart's simple. I have a little small black heart. We all know that by now. So you're going to get your shape. You're going to work on sizing it, how big, wide you want it, how tall you want it. Where do you want it within it? Make sure that it's centered once again within your square. You want to make sure everything is centered, okay? Because that's what we're working with here. We're working on centers. Okay, let's see. I don't know what's coming next. Okay, I selected both. Hold down your Alt key, left click, and that duplicates it. Now, what's on the left side needs to be moved to the right. Okay, see what I did there? It was on the left side, but I moved it to the right. You're keeping the square around it because that's what you're centering it with and you're matching it. We're going to do it again. Select both, Alt key, you left click it and it duplicates it, and then we're going to drag it to the opposite side. Once again, I kept the squares on it because I'm going to line that up and make sure that the squares are laying on top of each other. And then you can, once everything is centered, you can delete what is unnecessary. So the center heart was unnecessary. You don't need that anymore. And then your two outside squares are also unnecessary. Delete those. Those were simply guides, okay? Now we want to get rid of anything that's on the outside of our vinyl square. Okay, so we have half the heart that we don't need. So we're going to make that a compound path. I'm going to pull up that window by right clicking. And let's see what our compound path is. Yes, we have our little small gray squares here. That's exactly what we need. We click, we right click, we break the path, we grab that red dot off. Delete it, you don't need it. Delete it, you don't need it. All right, now you got that perfect half heart in there. Let's do that exact same thing to the other side. Right click, pull up your window. You need to make it a compound path. We're looking for the little gray squares. We got them. We right click on one of those gray squares. We break our path. There we go. We click on the red dot. We drag it away. Delete it, you don't need it. Delete what you don't need. Oh, I deleted too far. I had to go back. Put that one back and delete. Now everything is constrained into the inside of your square. And once it's wrapped around your cup, the middle of your hearts will meet. Let's check to make sure it's seamless. We held down the Alt key, we clicked on it, that's duplicated it, we dragged it over to the side. We're going to line up our squares. Do not line up your shape, line up your squares. That's how you're going to make sure. And if your heart or your shape matches, you know you have a seamless file. Okay, I'm going to drag this over just to the gray so you guys can see it. All right, so if your mind can start seeing that your shape will wrap around your cup and meet in the middle, you won't have an ugly seam down the back of your vinyl. That'll help you in seeing it on your cup. All right, so let's do the wrap. All right, so I told you guys I just did this notebook, so let's show you. This is just that simple diamond shape that I put within the square. Pull off all my excess vinyl that I don't need. You guys have seen me do wraps on these so many times. You're so tired of seeing them. See, that's why I don't do as many YouTube videos. I'm like, you guys have seen this, right? You don't need to learn anything else from me. You got it. You know what you're doing. But let's just talk through it since I'm here. And I've made myself do this. It gives me so much anxiety. Put your transfer tape on. Pull off the backing. I like to use parchment paper because I can see through the parchment paper and line up the middle. That's why I like using this. And lay that down on your parchment paper, and then you're going to put it on your cup. I did have someone ask me, you glitter the whole cup and then put vinyl around it? I'm like, I do. It's easier. I don't have to tape off anything. I don't have to, epoxy, and also doing this helps there not to be any stray glitter over your vinyl. So, is it worth it to me? 100%. Because I do not like stray vinyl going over unless I put it there purposely. I don't even know if that's a word. Okay, so then we're going to make sure that you line. This takes a while. I've sped through this. Take your time. Take your time. I have to tell even myself that. Make sure your middles of the vinyl is lined up. Then I put down my transfer tape so it's stuck to the cup. Adhered is a better word, I guess. And slowly pull off the parchment paper while laying down your vinyl. This is the slow part. Probably should have sped this part up. And while you guys make cups, you know exactly this is time consuming. So then you want to make sure that you don't lay your vinyl over your transfer tape. So make sure to pull up that transfer tape before you lay down the rest of your vinyl. And then your middles should meet up. And there it is. See that? Go ahead and you can pull off your transfer tape. I'm just checking it out, making sure if there's any bubbles that need to be popped, I can pop the bubbles. Making sure that the vinyl at the top of the cup is laid down. And you guys, this is an exclusive. I don't know if I've said this before in a YouTube video, but I have started offering vinyls in my Danielle Spencer exclusive vinyl Facebook group. There is some vinyls listed on my website. I created this, somebody requested a notebook vinyl, so I was like, yeah, sure, let me do it. So this is something I created. Here's the examples. Look at that diamond shape. Beautiful, seamless in the back. Absolutely freaking love it. You guys try it, make it, tag it, and tag me. I want to see what you create. I want to see what shapes you put on the cup.